Well, good afternoon. This is a little bit of advanced material. I don't know how advanced you'd call it, but it's just sort of walking through some exegetical steps. A lot of times when we have Greek text that we're dealing with, we're sort of looking at this. And this can be problematic for a number of reasons. For one, it's really hard to see. For another, it's all bunched up together. So what I like to do is take this, using computer software and create something like this. Got a little bit more room, some opportunities to write and that kind of thing. I'll read this to you and I'll just translate it sort of on the fly here, and then we'll go through and talk about the pieces. The elder to Gaius the beloved, whom I love in truth. Beloved, concerning all things I pray for you, that you may do well and be healthy, even as your soul is healthy. For I rejoice greatly at the coming of brothers and their testimony of you to the truth, even as you in the truth are walking. Greater than this I have no joy, that I hear my children in the truth walking. One of the ways you can think about this is think about this in layers. The first layer is just to go through and identify the verbs. Agapo, euchomai. This is an infinitive. Another infinitive. Verb. This is a participle and another participle. Verb. Participle. Go back through on a second pass, the second layer, and just make sure that you're picking out the participles. Okay, this is a participle, this is a participle, and this is a participle. Do the same thing with infinitives. This just picks them out as infinitives. Probably the next step or the next layer here is to go through and parse everything. Parse and then double check. Agapo, it's a present active indicative first person singular verb. This is a vocative case noun. Euchomai, present deponent indicative first person singular. Euadasthai is a present. It's passive, probably a deponent infinitive. This is a present active infinitive. Euodaatai from eudaomai, and this is a present deponent indicative third person singular. Look at this. Same word, two different forms. Ekarain, an aorist, passive indicative, first person singular from Cairo. Erkamenon from our good friend Erkamai. It's a participle. I usually identify the participle aspect of it first. The noun side, it's a genitive masculine plural. It could be masculine, feminine, or neuter. It's got the omega nu ending just like the nouns do. It's also present. You could call it deponent. You could call it active. Probably deponent is more correct. Marturun tone. It's a participle. Genitive masculine plural. Present active. Peripates. Present active indicative second person singular. Echo, present active indicative first person singular. Akuo, present active indicative first person singular. Peripatunta, it's a participle. It's accusative, neuter, plural, present active participle. Okay, so now we've gone through, we've printed things out, we've parsed all the verbs. I checked them before I started doing the video. Now I'll go through and I'll identify the genitives. Pantone here is a genitive. It's governed by the preposition. So what I'll do is I'll put a little flag here, preposition. Because now I'm moving from knowing that it's a genitive to thinking about how is it functioning. What is the genitive function here? It's governed by the preposition, so that's an easy one. Su is a possessive genitive. it is your soul. Adelphone is an oddball. What is that doing? This is where things get fun. Sue, this could be the testimony of you, and probably is. So it's a possessive genitive. This is a genitive of comparison because it follows a comparative adverb. Okay? So just like with a preposition, if you have an adverb, a comparative adverb, greater than in this case, this is a genitive of comparison. Joy that, okay. You can do the same kind of thing with datives. Datives are a little bit more straightforward, I think. One of the things to notice, right up here at the top, where's the verb? The elder to Gaius the beloved, whom I love in truth. Well, this is our relative pronoun guy here, and it's a accusative masculine singular, so we have to have a masculine singular antecedent. We find that in Gaius. Okay, so we know that what's going on there. Where's the verb? Turns out the verb is implied. Writes. The elder writes to Gaius the beloved, whom I love in truth. Beloved, concerning all things, I give thanks for you, or I pray for you, to prosper and be healthy, even as the soul. This right here is one of those nominative, feminine, singular nouns. Your soul prospers. For I rejoiced greatly at the coming of brothers and their testimony of you to the truth. You could probably render this a couple different ways. Even as you in truth are walking. Greater than this, I have no joy that I hear of my children in the truth walking. So we've built a couple of layers here. We've identified the genitives except for Adelphone. And what we're going to have to do for Adelphone here is take a look at a different document. This is basically, well, this is the definition of Cairo printed from BDAG. And so we're going to walk through this just a little bit. The definition number 1, to be in a state of happiness and well-being. And then there are some glosses by which you could translate it, rejoice or be glad. Okay, that's all well and good, but then there's all this stuff here. There are two ways to handle this. One is to look and find right here 3 John 3, where it gives us what's going on with that genitive. The other way is to start reading. And you sort of scan through a lot of this stuff, a lot of good information here. The object of or reason for the joy is denoted in various ways. Oh, interesting. What are the various ways that we could identify the content of the joy? With the simple dative or a preposition. Also dia with the accusative. The reason or object is given by hati. The reason or object is expressed by a participle. Or, ding ding ding, with genitive and a participle. What do we have going on here? We have genitive and a participle expressing the reason for the joy. So these two are sort of like a direct object. I rejoiced. What did I rejoice about or because of? The brothers came. So with genitive and a participle, and you'll notice here 3 John 3, and then a translation rendered by the dictionary folks, I was glad when some fellow Christians came and testified. Oh, good. Dictionary is a very helpful tool. So we've gone through, and now we know we can say this is probably a genitive direct object. We could also include C, BDAG, Cairo. So that takes us to a different level as far as this document is concerned. Now there's more to be done here, but I want to go ahead and stop there and just say, all right, we've identified everything, we've parsed everything. We can now offer a translation. The elder writes to Gaius. Okay, we could start that way. We can identify some good preaching points. We've made some observations about similarities. The word love appears in several different forms. Let's see. I think think that's all the loves. We could identify the word truth. A couple different occurrences there. So what's John's concern? We could perhaps offer a summary statement, or a topic heading. Any of those kind of things can happen at this point. Stay tuned. We'll come back and do another level.